I flew all the way out to New York to talk with Helen Boyd, who's been one of the most eloquent spokespersons for people with a transgendered partner. Helen's written a great book called My Husband Betty, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, and also talk about sort of her personal experiences with having a transgendered spouse, and also, get into some of the things that are issues that you may not have thought about. How did you and Betty meet?
We met at a reading group. We were both readers. It was a group I had started actually post-school because I missed talking about books. And it was Hemingway's Hemingway. The Sun Also Rises.
Oh, a very good one.
Yes, it is a great one. And it's all, there's kind of a romance that's a little complicated.
Yes.
It ended up being in some ways a kind of foretelling
yes,
things
indeed.
that we would be dealing with. So yes, it was an immediate attraction then.
Oh, that's cool.
I asked her out.
Wow, how forward.
She was living in guy mode at the time. So.
Now, how long were you dating before you got married?
We dated for a year, we lived together for a year, we were engaged for a year, and then we got married.
Very nice. And how long have you been married?
Now, almost, it's 4.5 years.
Great. And when did you first become aware of gender issues in Betty's life?
If I had been paying attention. No, right from the get-go, Betty told me immediately that neither of us remembers exactly what she said, but she told me the story about getting dressed as Marie Antoinette for Halloween with a girlfriend many years before. And that was sort of the first inkling that I got. And in some way, like I said, I don't remember how she said it, but she managed to communicate that it was more than costume. Not quite more than drag. For a while she did identify as sort of straight drag queen category when we were going to fetish clubs. So in the beginning it was very much costume, drag, fun, fetish, and that was the part that I had an easy time with. I grew up knowing drag queens, and it was sort of like, oh great, this is fun, drag queen I can have sex with. So, but in the beginning, so it didn't really know the depth of it. Mm-hmm. Betty herself, I don't think, was dealing with the depth of it, but it was only later that I came to understand the other stuff.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up, because a lot of spouses ask, why hasn't my partner told me this earlier? And that's a question that comes up a lot, and I think a lot of them worry that they were being deceived, but I think in a lot of cases people who are considering a gender transition are kind of in denial to themselves.
Very much so. I mean, and even people, for someone like Betty, who others maybe would have identified as a cross-dresser, even though she didn't ever really like that term for herself, the sense of what it meant, it was something that she didn't think about. She knew that she cross-dressed sometimes. She knew that she was always some version of female for Halloween, but the depth of her feelings about it was not aware. It can still feel like deception to the spouse. I mean, I don't think that, for the spouse's feelings don't have to be, invalidated because the person didn't intend deception. It can still feel like that, but...
And that's an interesting segue into another question about what were your own feelings when you realized it was something more than you initially thought?